everybody. Welcome to Run and Code, humor in South Texas law enforcement, where we find the funny in modern law enforcement. I'm your host, T-Bone. With me, as always, is my partner, J-Man. J-Man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
So today, we're going to talk about people who have the right to remain silent, but not the ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every cop listening to this understands exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm talking about, J-Man?
Sure do.
It's the people that you tell to shut the hell up, and they over-incriminate themselves, and you're just trying to get them to shut the hell up, say left or right.
Yeah.
It boggles my mind.
It's true.
In every legal TV show there is, what is the first thing a lawyer tells their client?
Do not talk to the police.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah. And they still do.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm trying to tell them, shut up, stop talking, they still want to talk. I have been able to put more people in jail because they would not shut up. If they had kept their mouth shut on the scene, I might not have been able to arrest them right then and there because I didn't just have enough. I would have had to let the detectives handle it, and then they get the evidence later on and run a warrant. Instead, they're in the back of my Tahoe, like, oh, yeah, I hit her, she wouldn't shut up. I'm like, dude, stop. No, she just wouldn't shut up. I got to tell you this. She wouldn't shut up, so I smacked her in the mouth. I'm like, okay, well, I appreciate the admissible statement. Now you're under arrest. And they look at you like, what? I'm like, dude, I was trying to tell you shut up. I'm just trying to tell you shut the hell up. Be quiet. Stop talking. So it's almost like I said, they have the right, but not the ability.
Yeah. I think it's because everybody has something to say, and they just have to tell you because no matter what law enforcement does, we're always wrong. It just never fails. So people have the need to tell us that we're wrong. Or they just, I don't know. Like, I've gotten a lot with drunks, DWIs. It's funny. I mean, even after I've told them, hey, you know you have the right to remain silent, right? Hey, remember your Miranda warning, it's still valid, right? Yeah, I know, but I really wish I didn't have those 4 Vodkatinis. I'm like, Hey, but I thought you had 2 Mick Ultra Lights, like 4 Vodkatinis. Well, yeah, 4 Vodkatinis, but before it was beer.
We also had 3 shots.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. You still remember you don't have to talk to me, right? Yeah, well, you seem like a nice guy. Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll be nice on the stand when I'm testifying against you. I arrested this guy for, it was minor misdemeanor piddly shit. He's in the back of my Tahoe. We're in the Sally Port. I'm writing up the booking sheet so I can get him booked in. He starts telling me about a murder that he committed. And the thing was, I hadn't read a Miranda because I wasn't going to interrogate him custodially.
Yeah.
There was nothing to talk about. I watched him do what I arrested him for. So there was no reason to ask him a damn question.
Mm-hmm.
He starts telling me about a murder. Now, for those legal scholars that are listening, that's called a statement of regesti. I didn't ask him for shit. That's an unprompted conversation on his part. I didn't ask for shit. Where I would have been in trouble is if I prompted him.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, I kept telling him, yeah, right, shut the hell up. And because I didn't want to Mirandize him and stop the conversation. So I just let him ramble. And I didn't prompt anything. I just told him, I kept telling him, yeah, right, shut up. And he gave me details that only somebody who killed somebody would know. And I'd let him ramble. And I'm just sitting there like, you got to be shitting me. I just arrested a dude in a Class B misdemeanor and he's admitting to a murder. Like, I let him yak. And then we were done. I'm like, yeah, right, you're so full of shit. Shut up. Booked him in. And the details he given me, it was a different agency, but I called them and said, did you all have a homicide over at this street? And I'm like night before last night? Yeah. Like, was he stabbed several times in the face and neck? Yeah. I have your killer. So they were like, no shit. I'm like, yeah, he's in the back of I arrested him on a Class B, but he just started rambling. They was like, please tell me you either Mirandized him or it was regesti. I said, it was regesti. I didn't prompt anything. He just kept yakking and wouldn't shut the fuck up. We're on the way. So those homicide detectives showed up and they pulled him into an interrogation room and he admitted everything. Verbatim what he told me, none of the details changed, and it matched the crime scene. So for folks that don't know, is we don't always give all the details for a reason on the news. When we interrogate somebody, they'll give us details we didn't know that kind of clinches that this probably is the guy that did it, because believe it or not, there are people who will admit to shit they didn't do.
Yeah.
So this guy had all the details and they got him for first degree murder.
Yeah. For his attorney.
Yeah. He's going to be very pissed.
Oh yeah. The attorney's probably like, oh man, I guess I can't do nothing with that. Hey, here's a tip for next time. How about you don't talk?
Yeah. And exactly what his lawyer's going to tell him.
I mean, even I want to say, even when guys were like shit talking me, like in the backseat of the car going to the jail, I'm just like, hey man, you probably should just stop talking.
Yep.
I'm not going to engage with you because this is what you're doing. Well, I just want to tell you to fuck you anyway. I'm like, you've already said that 4 times.
Yeah, I've heard it.
There's no reason to say it anymore. I mean, but go right ahead.
What you don't realize is the jury's going to watch this too, and they're not really going to appreciate it, especially when you start using the racial slurs or the LGBTQ slurs. Now you just look really stupid, and half the jury may swing that way or be something other than white.
Yeah.
And now they may have had some sympathy for you until that little diatribe, and now they have none.
And now your lawyer has to try to suppress prejudicial statements, because you look like a weenie.
Yeah, and some judges will do it, some judges won't, and you're going to find the judge that's going to say no, all admissible. And now the lawyer's like, well, I guess we're taking a plea bargain. I don't know. I've had a guy back there. You're a this, you're a that. I'm going to kill your mother. I'm going to and I'm just letting him. I just let him ramble after a while. I was okay. I just shut the window so I can't really hear him all that much. I turned the radio up a little bit, but the backseat camera can hear him clearly just fine. And nothing he said is going to help his case in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
At all. He just screwed himself in every way you can. I'm like, well, you're the dumbass who wouldn't shut up. And we're used to that in the beginning stages of an arrest or detention where he's mad, his blood's up because he just got arrested. Usually after 15 minutes in a Tahoe, most people start to chill a little bit. Like the reality sets in, they kind of calm down. With some people, man, they just wind it the entire way. They're still doing it when you're walking them into booking and you're taking the cuffs off and they're still talking shit. It's like, dude, we got it. You don't like me. Okay. Thank you for your input, sir, and how to do my job. I appreciate that. And then you get the legal scholars too in the back seat.
Oh, yeah.
That have no idea of what they're talking about. And they got their information from Law and Order SVU or sitcoms about the law, and they're in the back telling you how this is going to go because you did XYZ and you should have done XYZ. I've yet to meet anybody that's been in the back of my vehicle that knew as much about the law or more than I did.
Love Law and Order SVU, by the way. Just saying.
Great show. I love it. And it's pretty accurate in terms of the legal proceedings, but even they step out of line. And I love shows where an officer gets into a shooting and he's back on the street the next day. I'm like, oh, God, if only that is how that worked. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a shooting, you're going to be on a desk for minimum 2 weeks. Most agencies, months.
Yeah.
And so the amount of knowledge out there, the misknowledge, let me rephrase that. The amount of misknowledge out there about this job just drives me nuts. And I tell people all the time, would you tell your dentist how to pull your tooth? Mm-hmm. What I usually do is ask them, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm going to do this. Well, do you want me to show up and just tell you how to do your job? And they're like, well, no. Well, then don't tell me how to do mine. Well, I know how to do yours. How do you know how to do my job? Well, my mother or my brother or my sister, my uncle was a cop. Okay, but you're not. You don't have the knowledge. They have the knowledge. And I hear that about only law enforcement.
Yep.
No other career field.
It's freaking weird.
It boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I would not tell a pilot how to fly a plane.
One of even like, and this can also happen to people that are smart, and they think they can get over on you like a gotcha moment. I don't try to play those intellectual mind games with people. I just like to act oblivious because it seems to negate the I'm trying to get one over on you intellectual vibe. I did that with a guy. Apparently he may or may not be a chemist. Don't know. That's what he said he was. I'm like, okay, that takes a big brain.
Underground chemist?
Bigger brain than what I have, so I don't know. Well, I mean, this had to do with impairment again because, I don't know, DWIs I like.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And the unfiltered alcohol mouth just runs.
he wants to talk about prescription usage with the introduction of alcohol. I'm just like, well, you probably shouldn't do that and then, operate machinery. And he's like, you know what? That's exactly right. Hey, man, you remember you don't have to talk to me, though, right? Like, it's just always the reminder.
And folks, you're probably wondering why we're trying to shut them up. It's less for us to write.
It really is. And honestly, me personally, I'm somebody that I do not want to be accused of some sort of like Sixth Amendment violation or something like that when it comes to like due process. And also, I will routinely remind people, hey, you don't have to talk to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
please be quiet.
You do not have to talk to me.
And it's not because we don't want to hear you. It's just because we don't want to have to write more. And so then just shut up. I got what I need. That's all I need. I can write a real short report or write a really long one now because you just ran your mouth admitting to everything. It's like your lawyer is not going to be happy with you. Mm-hmm. I had another incident. I told this guy several times, shut up and stop talking to me. I said, I read your Miranda. You said you understood it. So the first one was you have the right to remain silent. Use it and shut up. He kept yakking and yakking and yakking. Well, his lawyer, of course, tried to motion to suppress. Denied. Everything was admissible. Client decided we're going to trial anyway, no matter and against the advice of his lawyer, who told him you're going to lose this one, mainly because of your mouth. And so during the trial, the defense lawyer didn't have much to ask me because it was black and white. It was all on camera. Dash caught the initial everything, and then body camera caught it. I mean, it was a slam dunker. And the defense lawyer didn't have much, and the client's sitting there looking pissed, staring at his lawyer like, hey, fix this. And the lawyer's looking back at him like, I can't. You dug this hole. I can't fill it. After the trial was over, and he was convicted. After the trial was over, I was outside in the hallway talking to the defense attorney. And he was like, I told my client, why did you not listen to that officer who was telling you to shut the hell up? And he said my client just kept going, but I wanted to tell him what really happened. And he goes, don't do that. Let me tell your story. And so we're watching, he goes, I had him down in my office and we're watching the video. And he's like, I just kept telling him, he told you again right there, shut the hell up. He told you again right there, shut the hell up. He told you again. And everything you said is in his report. He's like, I'm going to have a hard time fighting you on this. I can't. And the guy got convicted, and the lawyer was like, my client's an idiot. I said, I know, I arrested him. I met him. We met. I knew he was an idiot the minute I made contact with him. That's a classic example of digging your own grave.
Oh, yeah.
All the way to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, dude, the people I've learned over the years that you arrest them, they're caught, but the smart ones don't say a word.
Yeah.
They hand you their license and they shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. You're still going to arrest them based on probable cause, but probable cause does not convict people.
Yeah.
So if you say nothing can be held against you. For those that don't realize it, silence is not admittance or guilt. You have the right to be quiet. It cannot be held against you that you're quiet. We can ask you, why'd you kill that person? Your silence does not mean you did it because you won't say anything. Mm-hmm. It just means you have the right not to incriminate yourself.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't cops and listening, shut the fuck up. I used to tell kids all the time, look, if you screwed up, just be quiet. If the officer's going to arrest you, he's going to arrest you anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing you can say. What did I always used to say? You cannot talk yourself out of handcuffs, but you can sure as hell talk yourself into handcuffs. Mm-hmm. So shut up. The officer's already got you. You want a 50-50 shot of getting off it? You shut the fuck up. Mm-hmm. If you want a 90% chance of going down, run your mouth. Because in your anger, you're going to say shit you shouldn't, and you can't take it back later.
Oh, yeah.
Drunks, prime example.
Yep.
The judgment's the first thing to go, and your judgment, sober, probably telling you probably shouldn't be saying this. Drunk, you're like, oh, I had 9 shots and did 3 body shots off a stripper, and and I've been drinking since noon. And it's 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. It's like, okay, good statements. Appreciate that. It's more for me to write down, but this one probably going to get pled out. I wouldn't have to go to court. I just get the call from the ADA saying it was pled out. Oh, thank you. What'd you get? Well, because of the video, he got the full 2 years probation instead of the 6 months I would have normally offered him. Happy to help, sir.
Even like another, some other groups of people that just don't seem to want to use the right to remain silent. And maybe it's because they don't believe they adhere to the laws of the United States.
Sovereign citizens.
They just got it. They just have to tell you. Oh,
absolutely. And if anyone doesn't remember that, go back to episode 3 and listen to that again about sovereign citizens. You'll know what we're talking about. They're going to educate you, and they're going to educate themselves right into a jail cell. Right into a jail cell. Every time. It's like, well, you had your chance. Mm-hmm. It would have been better if you'd just done silence.
Yeah, no, they can't.
They can't.
I think they are like, I don't know what's a good word for it. Like biologically, they just can't. It's like once the stupid has entered the brain, it's just, for them, it's just stuck there. It won't go nowhere.
What people routinely forget is the street is not where you fight your case.
Nope.
You're not going to change our mind. If we have already made the decision to arrest you based on the offense you committed, nothing you tell me is going to change my mind about that. In fact, all you're going to do is just add fuel to the fire that's already burning. You're just going to toss more gas on your own fire. Mm-hmm. Shut up. Maybe there'll be a fire hose somewhere in the future. That's the best way I can put it. Shut up. Let your lawyer do his job. You do yours, which right now is be quiet and just go with the flow.
Oh,
you're under arrest, you're under arrest. The minute we say you're under arrest, dude, that ship has sailed. It's done. You're under arrest. Now you can go easy, you can go hard. When I was a rookie, I loved it when they went hard. Now that I'm seasoned, I'm like, please go easy. I don't want to fight, man. I don't want to roll around on the ground with you, man. You're caught. You're going to add a charge. Even if the first charge is acquitted on, you might still get convicted of the resisting because you cannot legally resist arrest. You're caught. If the officer screwed up in court, that's where that will come out. And the officer will deal with that. Mm-hmm. But you cannot legally resist arrest. Whether you like it or agree with the other officer saying while he's putting handcuffs on you, it doesn't matter. You're done. Shut up and deal with it. And the people that I've arrested that were smart, have been in and out of the system for years and had finally got that one through their head, usually their cases either got dismissed or they got the sweetest plea bargain there was. Like, 6 months deferred and stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
And they're out in the street to act like a turd another day.
Yeah.
The smart one to shut up.
Yeah.
The dumb ones talk.
And even like for ones that, I guess it could be like a field contact and you're going out to go talk to them, you would think you go to them, oh, hey, fuck you, man. And like when you go to approach them and you just keep on going, like, okay, they just don't want to talk. That's fine. You have that right. But the guy who has warrants but wants to talk to you, I don't understand that either.
They crack me up because it's a consensual encounter.
I do not understand, and that's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, well, they just start talking to you. Oh, you got your ID on you, man? Yeah, I'm not demanding it. Oh, yeah. They give it to you and you run them. You got a warrant. What? Yeah, you probably should have walked away. It's a consensual encounter, folks. For those that don't know, if we have no legal reason to detain you or stop you, we can still come up and talk to you. We can talk to anybody we want to. You don't have to talk to us. And the smart ones, I don't want to talk to you. And they walk off. If you got no legal reason, either reasonable suspicion or probable cause to detain them any further, you don't have a choice. You got to let them go. But these guys will sit there and talk to you. The most guilty ones, the most innocent ones won't talk to you. I don't want to talk to you, officer, and then walk off. All right, have a good day. The most guilty ones will sit there and talk to you. And it's almost like you can see the quicksand around their feet as it gets higher. And then you're like, hey, man, are you on probation or parole? Oh, yeah, I'm on parole. You got your ID on you? And they realize, oh, shit. Yeah, I think I recognize you, and then you run them and you got a parole violation. You probably should have walked away. And they're like, oh, man, well, I didn't want to talk to you. You could have left at any time. But I don't have to tell you that. Now, if you ask, am I detained? I can't lie to you. If you're not detained, I can't lie to you and say you are. No, you're not. I just want to talk to you. Well, fuck you. I'm walking away. Okay, sir. Have a great day. Okay. That's the end of the conversation. We cannot legally detain someone without probable cause or at least reasonable suspicion. Mm-hmm. Other than that, hey, have a nice day. But they think for some reason they have to talk to you. They're compelled. I'm not going to disabuse them of this notion. I'm going to let them stand there.
Oh, yeah.
Until they figure out the little candle. I'm not going to say light bulb because that's too smart. The candle above their head starts, the wick, the flame starts up. Oh, do I have to talk to you, sir? No. No, you don't. What I can do is frisk you down for a weapon. Yeah. If you're going to stand there and talk to me, I can at least say, man, do you have a weapon on you? Just lift your shirt, spin around for me. Let's make sure you don't have a weapon. And I can do that for my own safety. But you can be like, I don't want to talk to you. Fuck off and walk away. Okay, that's the end of the conversation. I can't say stop. Still show me a weapon. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. Yeah. This is where some officers let their ego get in the way.
That's true.
It's this job, guys, not ego driven. Okay, we have very strict rules and guidelines and court, case law and policy that guides us. As long as you stay within inside that, you'll be fine. You step outside that, you just hung your ass out in the wind, and your agency is not going to fall on the sword for you. And I'm not going to get into the whole qualified immunity thing. Even though 99% of the public has no idea how qualified immunity actually works. Yeah. And if you remember a couple years ago, they wanted to remove qualified immunity because officers are getting away with shit. That's not what qualified immunity is at all.
It's not.
And trying to explain to some of these people what QI really means, it just goes in one ear and out the other. I break it down in layman's terms. 5th grade English. If you have done nothing wrong, your agency will back you. If you have fucked up, your agency will not back you and you will lose qualified immunity. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, this means you can get away with whatever you want to. No, it doesn't at all. And so when Colorado got rid of their qualified immunity up to $25,000. So I don't know if you know this, J-Man. Officers in Colorado are responsible for the first $25,000 of any lawsuit.
Did not know that.
Whether they're guilty or not of anything. If their agency gets sued, they got to eat the first 25 grand. And then their agency takes the rest.
Did they get a pay raise?
Nope.
I mean, fiscally, how is anybody supposed to do that?
Well, there are companies now that in Colorado, that officers, it's like insurance. It's like qualified immunity insurance.
Oh, okay.
And they'll pay it. But the fact that Colorado has gone so far left, not even California has done this, which just boggles my mind that didn't start California first, is that, you're on the hook for 25 grand of that lawsuit. For the first 25 grand is on you. I'm like, you just created a work stoppage, not a slowdown, a stoppage. They're going to watch somebody shooting somebody and be like, we'll walk a warrant on him. We're ain't going to try to chase his ass down now.
Well, yeah, because if something that somebody doesn't like goes, that they don't like seeing, and then it's because it's already wrong already. But if someone sees something they don't like, in their head is, it's just even worse.
Yep.
And then now I'm on the hook for 25 grand.
Yep.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And most officers are not going to have that in the bank.
I wonder that insurance must be really, really, really good. And I would like to know, I guess, where the funds would come from, because Colorado is not a small state.
No.
So, I mean, that's a lot of officers that.
Yeah, but I mean, they're paying for it like car insurance or malpractice insurance. So you pay your monthly fee, whatever it is, and they cover that 25 grand. It's like anything else. I'm sure you're going to pay more because as an officer, you're more likely going to have to use that insurance at some point in your career. Yeah. So, like driving a car, it's going to be looking at your driving record. Oh, this guy's got 25 speed violations behind him, 3 reckless drivings, and 9 crashes. Chances are high he's going to cause us to spend money as an insurance company. Either we're not going to insure him or it's going to be really expensive. Well, probably the same thing with this crap. If you're like 5 years left on duty and you work at the courthouse, you're probably not going to pay as much as the guy in the gang unit who's jumping fences.
Yeah.
They might charge you a little more. Now, I don't know how this works exactly. I haven't actually sat down and looked into it. I haven't talked to any Colorado officers to ask, well, how does it work? But that'd be my guess, because the insurance company's job is not to pay as much as possible. They're always looking for reasons not to pay.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're going to pay, they're going to get their pound of flesh from you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we have something similar here where I pay $56 a month and I get $3,000 if I get put on admin leave, admin duty, suspended, fired. For 12 months, I get $3,000 extra every first. Okay. No matter what, unless I'm arrested for domestic violence or DWI. Mm-hmm. Those are the two that they just will not cover. They're like, nope, you're on your own. It's a great program. So if you're on a desk and let's say you work a lot of side jobs, this covers that because you can't work a side job when you're on admin duty. You can't work side jobs.
Yeah.
So this covers that loss of income. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I spread it to every officer I know. Mm-hmm. You want to suspend me? Go right ahead. I'm still getting paid while I'm suspended. Sorry, I'm going to sit at home and enjoy myself for that week, 2 weeks, whatever, month, whatever. I'll sit down and enjoy myself. Take a nice long earned vacation. May just leave town. Whatever. Have a nice day. See you when I get back. I don't know how we got on this topic of qualified immunity and insurance. I'm pretty sure it was me. But at the end of the day, getting back to our topic, if people just realized, if we come up to talk to you, of course we want you to talk to us. And of course, if we come up and talk to you on the street, we're probably coming to you for a reason. Yep. I've never done a consensual encounter on somebody I didn't have a need to talk to. Mm-hmm. There was somebody like, I think I recognize that guy. I think he's got a warrant, but I can't verify it 100% and jump out and detain him and go, I think you got a warrant. Give me your name, date of birth. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we do it's called a CE, a consensual encounter, we're talking to you for a reason. Mm-hmm. Now, if you haven't done anything illegal, well, have a nice day. But what people don't understand, in the middle of the night, if I find you behind a closed business with a sledgehammer and a crowbar in your hand, yes, I can stop you and talk to you. And no, you're not free to leave. You're holding burglary tools behind a closed business at night. Yes, I can absolutely stop you and you're not free to go. You're going to identify yourself to me. And at the end of the day, it's not legal to be standing there with a crowbar. It's not legal to be standing there with a sledgehammer. What we're going to do is we're going to field contact you and log that you were there. Mm-hmm. So at least if anything does come up later, well, that's probably suspect number one. The smart ones realize that. I tell them, okay, you do realize I just identified you. You're here. If anything comes up missing or broken into in this area, guess who suspect number one is? You might want to leave. Oh, I wasn't doing shit. I didn't say you were. I'm just telling you, you might want to leave. And it's funny, no burglaries that night. I must have been right. But I had no legal reason to arrest him. Yeah. It's not legal to carry a sledgehammer.
No, it's not.
Not legal to carry a crowbar. It's situational. If you're standing by a construction site in broad daylight with a sledgehammer, that makes sense. If you're standing behind a closed business at 2 a.m. with a sledgehammer, that does not make sense. So it's about what makes sense.
Yeah.
What a reasonable person would believe. Because even a civilian would look at that and go, okay, that's weird. Some may call, some may not.
Yeah.
But all of them are going to look at it like, that's just really odd. This is the kind of stupidity we deal with people all day long.
And the right to remain, remaining silent, just as much as it applies to those that we contact, people that we arrest, it also pertains to us as officers. Sometimes you probably shouldn't go and say what is on your mind all the time.
Yeah.
So make sure you practice that yourself, all officers that are listening and, that are out there, because you can talk yourself into a suspension or maybe a termination. But if you just remember that little voice that says, hey, man, I should probably shut the hell up, you should listen to it. Always got to get the last word in.
If it's criminal, you have the right to remain silent. If you're an officer accused of a crime, your internal affairs, you don't have a choice in internal affairs.
Yeah.
That is a condition of your employment. Yes, you have Garrity protection. And for those that are listening that are law enforcement know what Garrity is. Civilians don't know what Garrity is. Look up Garrity versus New Jersey. You can look all that up. Mm-hmm. You get the protection from that towards the criminal side of the house, but you have no choice but to talk to your internal affairs. You have to talk to them. And the minute you don't, you're fired right then and there because you're refusing to cooperate.
Yeah.
So you don't have the right to remain silent with internal affairs, but that's policy and administrative, not criminal.
Yep.
Criminal, you still have the same rights as anybody else.
Yep.
Even as an officer, if you're accused of a crime, you have the right to shut the hell up. And it's amazing how many officers don't even know that. And they think that because they're an officer, they have a different set of rules and they have to talk. No, you don't. You have the same rights as anyone else. I don't condone what you're accused of, obviously. If you broke the law as an officer, you broke the law and you knew better. But you have rights too. So use them and shut up. Let your lawyer tell your story. Now, are you going to be fired? Probably. But are you going to go to a slaughterhouse for 20 years? Or maybe you get 10 years, suspended, something. It all depends on your mouth.
Yeah.
Shut up. Mm-hmm. Let your lawyer tell your story. And this is what I've tried to get across for years to people. If you, as an officer, get accused of a crime, shut up. Take the same advice you gave other people and shut up. And remember the same rights you have to.
Yeah.
And I know officers who their cases got dismissed because they didn't get read Miranda, and then they started talking when they were asked questions without Miranda. And these are officers asking other officers. Now, was that intentional? Maybe. Like, oh, we look like we're doing our job. We're purposely throwing the case. And I don't agree with that either if you're doing that. It is what it is. As officers are held to a higher standard. Shut up.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
So people, non-law enforcement, law enforcement, anybody listening, you don't have to speak to us. Even if something simple as a traffic stop, all you have to give us is your driver's license. If you don't have your license, you're required to give us your name, your date of birth, your address, and even your social if we can't find you with the first 3. Other than that, you don't got to say a damn word to us. Mm-hmm. You can tell us to kiss your ass. Now, I don't recommend you do that. And you're going to get a piss off the police ticket. But you don't have to tell us what you're doing, where you're going. We can ask those questions. You don't have to tell us. But people will start telling you about their whole day. I'm like, oh, hold on. I was just asking about speeding. And you're telling me about your day started at 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh, my God, please be quiet. I didn't ask for all that. Or when you ask them, why are you speeding? Well, I got up really early for work this morning. And I'm like, okay, already this has nothing to do with speed. I'm like, why are you telling me this? It's no bearing on what we're talking about. Again, right, not the ability.
Yeah.
So it's a funny world of people that meet law enforcement and they get their information from the news or honestly, a lot of it is, if I can explain myself right now, I can talk myself out of this. You're not going to. You're just going to guarantee at that point, probably an arrest. If not a minimum, later down the road, a warrant based off the statements you made to me. Mm-hmm. If I ask you what happened and you say, I don't wish to speak to you without a lawyer present, well, that's the end of the conversation. Yeah. Are you still going to jail? You might be. Because maybe either I've got witnesses and the victim statement or I saw it with my own 2 eyes. But if I don't have a witness and all I got is one victim and his story's not quite all there and you don't say shit, I may not be able to arrest you.
Yeah.
I just write the report, send it off to the detectives, let them deal with it. Mm-hmm. But nothing's better than a criminal with his own mouth telling you what he did. That's a statement he can't take back. That's a fantastic thing for prosecution. Sucks for us. We got to write a 10-page report. That would have been 3.
Yeah.
But you just kept talking. It's like, oh my God, I'm writing this fucker for hours. But I shouldn't say stuff like that because fellow officers out there know the more you bleed in that report, the less you'll bleed. Or no, let me put it this way. The more you sweat right in that report, the less you'll bleed on the witness stand.
There you go.
And you may not even have to go testify. I don't know how many times I've not had to testify because I write quality, articulate reports. I don't even get called. I'll call to check the status of the case. Oh, we took a plea bargain 2 weeks ago. Well, fuck, man, tell me. And I always ask, well, what was the outcome? Well, you wrote a really great report and we were able to get a really sweet plea deal. You got 5 years. Hell yeah. Good report writing. Good report writing. And you know what? One of these days we'll do an episode on report writing.
Yeah.
And it'll open your eyes, listeners. And law enforcement and civilians alike it's going to open your eyes about report writing. So, J-Man, do you have anything to add on the subject of right to remain silent but not the ability?
I don't.
All right.
See, I'm going to remain silent.
See? He had the right and the ability. It's a rare combination. I'm so proud of him. Hope I never have to arrest him. Well, listeners, we hope you enjoyed today's show. Brother and sister officers this week, watch each other's backs, watch your backs, pay attention to what goes on around you, do the right thing at all times, even if no one is watching, because there's always someone watching. Ever since Rodney King, there's always somebody watching. And just, as always, take care of yourselves and do the best you can in the roughest job we got, because no one else knows how to do it and no one else wants to do it, and we're stuck doing it. And whatever reason you're doing it for, just do the right thing. J-Man, anything to add?
Nope, we're all good.
All right, listeners, we all have a great week, and we're out. Hey, if you like the show, check us out on Twitter or Instagram. Both are at T-Bone and J-Man. Like, follow, subscribe, send it out to your friends, send it out to your family. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach us there, and we'll give you a shout out on the show.